Hucksters. Today I am an early bird. So, you're not going to see this video for a while. Not this one. This one you're seeing today, hopefully. With the video of compilation of the office purge. It will be in many parts because it is such a slow process. It is taking forever. You know, it's funny because there is so much. First of all, I'm going to have a Premier Protein 30 gram, 1 gram of carb protein shake for breakfast or early breakfast or 11sies. No, it's not 11 yet. Early breakfast, we'll call it. And I just took my sinus medicine, so you literally will probably hear my voice improve as the time goes by, so forgive me. Tastes like a protein shake, if you're going to ask me how it is. To me, ever since like Slim Fast back in the day, protein shakes have like, I like to call them dusty. Like it has like a dusty taste, in my opinion. Maybe because dust is protein skin flakes. I don't really know. That's gross, but still. That's a gross way to start your morning. Hi, have you ever eaten dust? Did you know it's mostly protein? No. It's just the way I can describe it. I don't know why. I don't know. I feel like the girl from Signs where she's like, your water has amoebas in it. I am really loving, like visually loving some of the changes that I've made. It's funny because I have always been, and I guess for the most part, it still is that way, but I've really always been like a container type person. Like, I mean, they're still in containers, but containers that I can't see. So I love a basket. I love a bin, whatever it is that I don't have to see what's inside of it. I could just look at a label. But when it comes to my tabletop, the baskets were like dark and heavy. And now the paper is all in like, excuse me, coronavirus. Excuse me, coronavirus. The paper is in those clear paper containers. The storage is in clear containers. So even though it's there, it obviously doesn't take up as much room because when you put the, you know, you can only fit so many in a basket, blah, 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 whatever. But I feel like it's more visually open. It's clearer. Cleaner is really not the right word. It's kind of clearer. I still have some more things that I want to do. Like, I bought this really neat plate holder from LTD Commodities, and Jim's like, what are you going to do with that? And I literally bought it for these like craft type plates. I have them like stacked. I'm sorry I say the word like a lot. I do that a lot, especially when especially when I'm just waking up and I can't like feel like I could put together a coherent sentence. I know you don't always see me eat medicine. I drink food. Oh my Lord. I know you don't always see me eat breakfast. I did it one time in a day of my life, and I got like this one message to be like, why do I want to see you eat? Well, you somebody famous? Like, what is it? Why is it more impressive to watch somebody famous eat than a normal person? It was a day in the life, so I was trying to show you what I ate for breakfast, and that I ate breakfast, and how I ate breakfast. Sometimes watching people eat, not that you need to watch me eat, but sometimes watching people eat, it does give you an insight into them. So, my sister Jane, something she's been working on for a lot of years is to slow down her eating. And I realized, as adults, we discussed, and like, when we were growing up, it was like, eat your food, someone's going to take it off your plate. Now, when we were younger, I don't really know if this is the reason, but it's why I theorize. When we were younger, we used to sit in age order. So she used to sit next to my brother, who was 5 years older than her, so like while she was 9, he was a teenage boy, I can totally see him stealing food off her plate. 100%. My father used to say, first up is best fed. That's true. That was true in my house growing up. Don't be the youngest trying to go to kindergarten where everybody else is already in high school. Or whatever. Not everybody was in high school, but they were, yeah, you know what I mean. You know how the younger kids go to school last? Yeah, like that. Pretty much that's what I was trying to say. But on days when I don't have my Metamucil, because I don't take it every day, on days when I don't have my Metamucil, I have to eat something with my medicine, or else I get like, the cinnamon sometimes gives me indigestion. Doesn't always. When I take the 500 milligrams twice a day, it doesn't bother me at all. They were out, so I'm taking thousands. When I take the 1,000 milligrams in the morning, if I don't eat something, I'll start, it's not indigestion, I'll just start burping cinnamon. It's not really, it's not the worst. I mean, it's not like burping fish oil or whatever. Can't imagine. So good. So I wanted to share with you that I think I was going to clean off the table a little bit while I was talking to you. So if you see the top of my head, I apologize. But I bought this from the Dollar Tree. I went to go put it in the kitchen yesterday. At first I was like, oh, I wanted a DIY and I really wanted to put it in my bathroom. But I was like, oh, kitchens are made for families to gather, and I love that. So I was just going to put it in the kitchen, and yep, that happened. So some changes that I've made to my desk, really just one big change, is that I had this giant surge protector over there. I think I mentioned it in the video that you haven't seen yet. I need a break. I'm losing it, I think. Of course you haven't seen the video yet. What am I talking about? Why do I even use these words? Oh my. Hopefully I can make you smile today, because that just made me smile. Oh, so one of the things that I mentioned while I was making the video that you haven't seen yet is currently my glue gun. I'm a righty, so my glue gun's on the right side of my table. The surge protector was back there on the left. So when I want to use my glue gun, I plug it in, but it needs to go behind the camera, or else it drags all the things across the front of the camera, and that's not good. So it needs to go around the back of the camera and plugged in here. So to do all that maneuvering is a lot. Sorry, I drank that fast for you guys, and now it's giving me burps. Sorry. Okay. I apologize. So, to wrap around the back of the camera, not only does it shorten the cord, which now I'm like limited to, you know, my stretching abilities. But when I want to like take it off the table, I think I mentioned in the video, I'm sorry, but if I'm repeating myself, I don't know when I said anything. When I need to take it off the table, like when I did the coffee mug holders, I needed like the whole table cleared off. Then I had to like unfish it, and then I need to refish it to put it back. It's just something that, as much as I use it every day, I would like to be able to put it away once in a while. So what I said to Jimmy was, I would really like the surge protector here, like really like right here, either on the wall next to my remote control holder, or like actually attached to the skirt, the apron of the table, because I want to be able to access like plug here. Now I currently newly have my Cricut here, which I have not really been able to use since we put it on there, because there's no, like the electricity doesn't, you know, it's just too much. It's too much. I can't keep it plugged in all the time because it will constantly draw power. I guess I could, it's just I don't want to, because it will constantly draw power. But I want to be able to, like my glue gun, I want to be able to plug it in when I need it. And then doing that whole fishing thing. So he has removed that surge protector. He has plugged in this surge protector, but then he said to me last night before, because he's like, I'll do that before I go to bed so you can work on it in the morning. I'm like, okay. So he came into the bedroom after, and I'm not complaining. Please don't think I'm complaining on my husband. It's just trying to understand where my head's at. So he said, the surge protector fit, and I tucked it under the cart. I mean, sometimes it's frustrating because, like, I'll have an entire conversation with him and he'll just, like, land on sentence 1 and that'll be it. A lot of men are like that. Not complaining about Jim. Jim, not singling Jim out. So I appreciate that he got this done. And then the thing that may be exclusive to Jim is then Jim gets on me when I, I repeat myself, or if I, give him step-by-step, really intricate sort of details, because then he'll almost have the attitude like I'm not an idiot. But if I don't do all those details, he'll just do his own thing and it's not the way I need it or want it or whatever. And yes, I could just do it by myself. I know. I don't need that light. It's good in here. But anyway, we have been very busy here the last 2 days, 3 days. Last weekend was kind of a bust. We got few things done, but nothing major. We were supposed to do some major projects, but today we're going to do some major projects. I don't have to use this room as a guest room this visit. I'm going to switch my earbuds really quick, so you might hear weird noises, so hold on. Hopefully you can hear me still. Okay. We don't have to use this craft room as a secondary guest room this time because of just the planning and everything, which is great. Actually, my sister Alicia was really excited because I think she's got projects for me to do. So, but during this great purge, I have already 2 huge bags to go to my friend. This purge started back Valentine's Day, Easter. As the holidays were coming up, I was purging major portions of them. What I did was I had a box labeled paper crafts, and you'll see it, but just to chat with you about what I did. I had a box previously labeled paper crafts, and what was in there was all I used to do more rubber stamping than I do now. I used to make cards and invitations, not just cards, high cards, but invitations and wedding announcements and that kind of stuff. I used to do that I did that for my wedding, and I did that for my friends and family as well. As friends, family of friends. Friends and family of friends. But, so I don't really do that anymore. And not that I won't at all, but I don't need to hang on to the stuff. If it ever comes to somebody, and I didn't have enough of anything to do. I didn't have enough vellum to do a project for anybody. That sounds weird, but so I didn't get rid of the vellum. I just stored it differently. So, what was in there, the one thing that was in there that I haven't found a home for yet, and I'm hoping and praying that I can find this specific container at the Dollar Tree. Otherwise, I have containers I can put it in, but I just feel like the shape and the way I want to organize this would be perfect in that type of container. Is these specific hole punches. So I have a mason jar shaped hole punch that I bought for when Eden was getting married. And I have a circle hole punch, a 2-inch round circle for making stickers and stuff. But the 2 that I have that are my favorite, they're by Fiskars. They're actually sort of a cool magnetic system. I have one that's square and one that's round. And it's if you had a piece of poster board, how do you cut a hole in the middle? It's magnetic, so it's got this base. It's got like this plastic thing with magnets on it, and you put it where you want the hole to be, and then you slide the base under it until it clicks onto the magnet. You actually can move it while it's magnetized, so I mean, you don't have to do it like that, but I'm telling you, like, so it's got a guide on the top that shows you about where you want to cut. Then you can slide the base under it and magnetize the base to it. Then it has a top that matches, and it only goes one specific way. And basically you can cut a hole in the middle of a giant piece of poster board, or whatever you might need to cut a hole, punch a hole in the middle of for, I don't know. But, you know, with standard hole punches, you can only go like, the hole can only be like 2 inches from the edge of the paper, or 2 inches from the last time you cut it or something. So that was really cool. So I really want to hang on to that. I don't know if or how or when I'll ever make it again, but I know that they don't sell it. I got it really cheap. I got it really inexpensively. And I know that it's much more expensive if I need to replace it. So it's kind of one of those things you'd be like, I don't use it all the time, but that's a very specific tool. You know, like that. I don't know if you guys have things like that. So, but I was able to downsize that whole box. And I was able to create a box for spring and St. Patrick's Day. So up until this year, I had one box for, I called it holidays. The box had my Americana decor, Easter, and St. Patrick's Day were all in one box, and Valentine's Day. But this year when I got the cubies, which I guess, it's not this year anymore, is it? That was last year already. Dang, girl, time goes by fast. The coronavirus got you speeding time by and going slow at the same time. But when I got these boxes, then I was able to break it down to Americana, Easter, and then I had a miscellaneous holiday box that had St. Patrick's Day in it. And I had spring mixed in with Easter. But we do so many spring decor DIYs that aren't Easter specifically, so I broke it down. I broke it down to spring / St. Patrick's Day because I didn't have enough of either to fill a whole cubie. The other thing we took down that it's currently not labeled properly is we took all of my burlap ribbon out of the box of burlap ribbon. If you watch the previous when I got these cubies, how I organized them, I loved the way I organized them. I put everything in these little baskets. Actually, if I could, I don't know if you can even see. Hold on, let me see if I turn you a little bit. Oh, no, maybe not. I put everything in like little baskets, and little baskets, I just laid them in this basket. This is one of the baskets that was on the dresser with the fabric dresser. So what I decided to do was, again, if this ever needs to be a guest bed, sorry, I lost you. If this ever needs to, oh, it's really low. It's really low. What's happening? Okay. If this ever needs to be a guest bed again, I have like this basket full of fabric. That's like my Dollar Tree go-to basket, fabric basket, which you haven't seen me organize yet. And right now it looks like a hot mess because I just threw stuff on there as we're still cleaning. So we're still a little bit of the purge. We still have a little bit of organizing to do. But I have my Dollar Tree basket here, and I was like, okay, so my Dollar Tree basket has these 2 oval bins in them. You can't see what's in there, it's a surprise. Has these 2 oval bins in them that have like, so this is rugs and towels and chamois cloths, right? And it just sits on top. That also doesn't belong in there. So it just sits on top of these folding things. So if we ever come to the point where, dang, Jerry, you just now knock everything over. Forgive me. If we ever get to the point where I need to like make this a bed like quickly, I know that if I take off these round bins, these oval bins, that this will sit right on top of all of these little plastic bins that are in here. I could put the round bins back on top of the burlap basket, and I could just move the whole thing to in front of the closet. And this is sort of like, I mean, if it's an emergency, like God forbid our neighbor's house flooded and they needed to come stay, their family of 6 type of a situation. Otherwise, when I know that family's coming, we'll have time to clean it, prepare properly. But I want to make that, I mean, is it because my dad was an Eagle Scout? I don't know. It's because my mother was a first responder? I don't know. I don't. I wish I did. I wish I could tell you why I feel that way. Maybe because just working at AHRC, maybe surviving a storm or a flood. I don't know. I always just have to have these plans, these contingency plans of what to do when and how. And I realized that this rug got like folded. This is actually the rug portion. When we made our boho wreath, I think that's the rest of the rug portion. Rug portion number 9. Yeah, that's the cut up rug. Okay. So I have another tips video coming for you guys. I've had a lot of requests after the last one of things that you guys want to learn, which I thought was pretty neat, and I really appreciate that. You guys giving me ideas really does help my channel, because sometimes the hardest part is coming up with ideas. Truth, preach. So I think I'm gonna take this really quick because I just noticed that all this new fabric from the Dollar Tree didn't get put away properly. So let's get that. And why is that there? Why are you there? You don't belong there. You were missing, so I'm glad I found you. That's the ribbon. That is the scraps. I should label them right. And here's the fat quarters. This is how we did our fat quarters. I don't know if there's actually any room. Oh, there is. So I took the fat quarters and I folded them all so they fit in here. And then I'm just gonna put the rest of them in there. I don't even know if I have to take these out because there's room on the end. Let me see. Does it fit? Ah, no, it won't close though. It's close, but no cigar. Not everybody, I'm sorry, everybody got the opportunity to buy these. I know that for sure, but I found the red gingham, which I thought was really pretty. I just love gingham in general. But red gingham just reminds me of the summertime, right? It is such a happy pattern. I'm gonna put it next to the navy blue gingham. Wait, how did I fold these? Because now that doesn't look right. Oh, okay. I think I folded them in thirds first. But I folded in half. I see it. You know, sometimes you have to look back at what you did to figure out what you're gonna do. I knew I didn't unravel all the fat quarters. Dang it, Jerry, that's not right. Maybe I did. Hold on. It was in half and then thirds. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. It's in half and then thirds. Eh. I do really feel blessed, to be honest with you. I know, who would lie about being blessed? I guess they would lie about their feelings. Let me take that back. I really do feel blessed to have so many people love on me so much. Not even just when it's my birthday, but just like on a regular basis. But when it's my birthday, you know, the thing is that I've mentioned it so many times before. We didn't have a lot growing up, but my mom always tried to make your birthday special. You know, you make you feel special on your birthday. I guess a lot of moms are like that, but when you don't have a lot growing up, you kind of appreciate it. Like, she took that extra effort or whatever, what have you. You know, she took that extra effort to make it even more special. I don't know what is happening. I wonder if I folded it in thirds first. I think we have a wiener. That was it. So I opened it, folded it in thirds, and then I folded it in thirds again. Okay. They want to redo the gingham, just to be safe. So I took the fat quarter. If in case you want to actually have these buckets with this kind of fat quarters in there, here's what I did. I opened the fat quarters, folded in half, so it's just in half one time, and I folded it in thirds instead. To fold it in thirds, all I do is, you could see, not that you're interested. Some people are like, Jerry, that's why you're even showing us. I hold the one edge between my index finger and middle finger of this hand. I hold one edge between the pointer and thumb of this hand, and I use this thumb on the left hand to put in the seam, in the fold, and then I use this index finger of this right hand to put in the fold. And when you pull on it, it like automatically folds your thing in thirds. Now, it's hard to do it without gravity, but if I do it with gravity, then you can't see what I'm doing. So it folds it in thirds like that. And then when I go to fold it in thirds like this, I just use the eyeball method. We fold, when we were storing all the fabric back in the day, we used to fold it in thirds all the time. And I don't mean the fabric like the fat quarters. I mean like I used to buy yards and yards of fabric. If something was $1 a yard, I'd have no problem getting 10 or 15 yards of it. If it was a good quality fabric and I knew I could do projects with it, or like for example, I bought that green on beige, I think it's green on beige technically, ticking fabric that I covered my guest room walls with back in New York. I actually didn't starch, like I was originally going to starch it. My cousin PJ's mom did that with her. She took like bed sheets or fabric that matched the bed sheets, perhaps, or curtain fabric. I'm not really sure, but she basically put like liquid starch on the walls and used the fabric like wallpaper type of situation. But when I went to go do it, I was all prepared to do that. But then I was like, you know what? I don't think it's necessary. The fabric that I was using was a really good weight. It had a good weight to it, so it wasn't going to like sag, if that makes any sense. It hung, it was thick, so it wasn't going to sag, and it also was thick. It was like, well, you couldn't see what was underneath it, because I had gone over a mural, and then I was like, well, do I really want to ruin this mural? I don't know if I want to ruin this mural, you know? And it wasn't a mural, it was a painting. I drew, when my brother and sister moved into the apartment upstairs from my parents' house in 1989. Me and my little brother finally got our own rooms. We had slept in the living room. My brother had slept in the living room his whole life to that point, and I had slept in the living room most of my life, from like the time I was in elementary school till I was 18. I slept in the living room, so it was nice to finally get our own rooms. So when I did get his room, I was working for my cousin. I was babysitting for her. And when the kids would go to bed, she was a waitress and she'd be out late, you know. But you know, the kids would go to bed, I would watch TV. But I would also just like flip through the JCPenney's catalog. Do you remember JCPenney's catalog? Big, fat, thick JCPenney's catalog. The wallpaper section. I used to love housewares, and I still love housewares. I mean, like, I still love decor and stuff. I always did. When I was 15, my birthday money, 1 year, I got from my godparents and babysitting. I went to TSS, which is Times Square Stores, which is the little department store there in Oceanside next to where we lived. And I bought curtains for my living room. Look, I was 15. I was sleeping out there. It was like my bedroom, you know, and I got insulated. It was cold at times, you know, it was winter, it was cold because poor, you know. And I got these, like, blue was my mom's favorite color. Ironically enough, it's my mother-in-law's favorite color too. And sorry, this is laying very different than the other one did. So I'm just trying to figure it out. I think it's not a fat quarter. I think it's just a square of fabric. That's probably why. If you know I've said this before, so if it's a repeat, I apologize. But a fat quarter is just that. It is a yard of fabric, which is usually roughly 40 to 44 inches. Most fabrics are. And then they're folded in, you basically get you get a yard, and then they cut it in half this way and cut it in half that way. So you get 4 quarters out of the yard. So a fat quarter is usually 20 to 21 or 22 inches wide by 18 inches. It'll always be 18 in one direction because a half of a yard is a half of a yard. But the dimensions of the fabric, sorry, there's glitter on the table. I just want to make sure I don't get any in my eye. But I think that was just sleep. Anyway, I can breathe again. So when I was 15, I was like, yeah, I'm doing that. And then when I was 18, almost 19, my sisters, like I said, my sister and my brother moved into the apartment upstairs. My sister Jane was at college. My sister Julie didn't live at home anymore. She lived with her, a friend that she used to watch her kids. Like, she was like an au pair almost. And we got our own rooms. I went and I found myself a border paper and a wrap and a wallpaper with a matching border. I knew I wanted to do chair rail. I mean, it was 1989. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But I knew I wanted to do a roses, like a pink roses floral border. That's what I found. I found my brother like a Super Mario border paper. My brother's like a big gamer when he was little. Actually, he still is, but at least I think he is. I don't hear otherwise, let's put it that way. So I had Super Mario Brothers border paper. I found him matching bed set, like comforter and stuff. And I had put basically the Mario jumping thing. I painted the room was light blue, and I added the clouds to the furniture and stuff. I painted one. We had this, my father used to call it the gray cabinet, and it was always in the boys' room, because he always said the boys' room was supposed to be his den. It just didn't work out that way. But oh, that was hard to come off. This is hard to come off. This sticker is stuck to this chevron fabric, so that's what I'm picking on. So there was this gray cabinet. It's actually like a Han office cabinet. Excuse me. Or like an army wardrobe, perhaps. And he used to keep it was basically where he kept all his tools. You know, my dad was a machinist and all around handy guy. That's where he kept all his tools. He had a quite extensive collection of tools, because if somebody would come into his shop with a broken Sawzall or whatever, just a perfect example, and a new Sawzall was $100. I'm using random numbers that none of these are match. A new Sawzall is like $100, and it literally would cost, you know, after labor, because they had to charge for labor and parts, if it cost them like $120 to fix the Sawzall, usually guys would just leave it and say, like, forget it, I don't want to, just keep it, trash it, whatever. And then my dad would fix it for free because it wouldn't cost my dad the labor, and the parts he would get wholesale or whatever. So he had a lot of tools like that. I mean, he didn't have excessive. He didn't bring home every Sawzall that didn't work, type of thing. You know, he was very selective about that. But we had like a circular saw, the jigsaw that I have, you know, was my dad's, or is my dad's, I guess. Was my dad's. Currently it's mine. I don't know. That cabinet stood in my brother's room when it was my older brother's room. And then, of course, when it became my little brother's room. Now, I will tell you, I'm not dissing on my bro. Which, boy, I could. We can make a whole video about that. But my older brother is 10 years older than me. So if I was 19, he was 29 and still living at home. So it was about time he moved out. And he only moved upstairs. During the hurricane, he's like, I lived in this house the longest. I'm like, yes, but you lived somewhere else in your life. I never lived anywhere else. There was the difference. Like, he lived there since the house was purchased in 1965. But from 1960, when he was born, to 1965, he lived in Rockaway. I came home from the hospital to that very house, and I lived there until the hurricane. So we both had that sort of in common, or to discuss. I don't know what I'm saying. By the way, I'm cutting the tags off of these bandanas. This is so random. But, you know, the other bandanas that the Dollar Tree used to carry were sort of that nylon-y sort of situation. And these ones feel a lot more like actual cotton, like material, which is really cool. I'm liking that, Dollar Tree. Good move. Good job, Dollar Tree. Good job. And I'm just going to open them up and fold them in thirds because I have room for them to go in like that. But I'm just keeping them in this with this fat quarters. A bandana is close to being a fat quarter. Usually they're 20 by 20. Excuse me. It's a little tight now. I might have to be like, don't get any more until you use some. All right. Look, you helped me clean up. I really do like these buckets a lot. I like that they stack. I like that they lay flat. I think I have some stuff to go in there. Is this the scraps? Or is this the handkerchiefs? Is this the scarf? This is the scarves. That's not the scraps. That's the scarves. Actually, I do have a scarf. I got a black one. Where did I put it? Was it here? No. Did I put it in here? Yeah. This is like scraps that I just, as I was doing a project, I throw them in here and then I eventually put them away in there. So I don't need the tag that says it's a scarf anymore. Okay. So anyway, I'm all over the place with this vlog, so forgive me. I know you guys just love when we chat, but I do like to kind of have some sort of idea of what direction I'm heading in. I would like to fix this. Okay. Oops. This was the scraps from the Ottoman project. You know what I'll do? I'll move you down in the meantime. And then I have one giant Easter sign that I wanted to use for DIYs. So I have to put it back here. turn. I think I mentioned it when I did the coffee bar, but this really nice French coffee sign that I made is going to be a pantry sign again. And I don't mean again like it never was a pantry sign, but that's what I intended it to be from the first place. So this basket, this one has, I don't know why that's out, and I don't know why that's out. This basket has all of the rolled fleece. However, it's getting quite full. And I don't know that I have room in it. So I might start perhaps putting some of it in the other bucket. I do have some room for some of the gray. I might put it in there. Let's see what we have here. There was a lot of pieces left over in the gray fabric, but they're all like weird shapes. So now normally, what I say to myself, what I started doing is only full pieces of fabric goes in this bucket. The scraps are supposed to go down below, but there is so much of that, I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to share alike. Maybe I'll just put this in, maybe I'll fold it and I'll put it in this bucket, even though it's not the same type of thing. I won't tell if you won't tell. So I did miss chatting with you guys. You know, Mom's not always very loquacious. And Jim likes to be the talker and not the listener. So like I listen to him more than he listens to me. And I'm not saying he doesn't listen to me. You know what I mean? We'll have conversations, but usually the conversations are kind of one-sided. He just likes to tell me how things are going, and I don't really have him to talk to. I do have my friends though, thank God for them. I wanted to put these by this drop cloth canvas because it's like the same type of material. But you know what? It actually will fit between the buckets very well. Okay. Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, that's a lot of men. A lot of husbands are like that. So it's not, like I said, it's not exclusive to mine. I'm not dissing on Jim. It's just, it's nice to talk to you for that reason, because he doesn't talk to me very much. Gosh, when it's just out of your reach, right? I don't even know why it's all the way over there. Okay. I'm just going to repair this with wood glue. I'm not going to plug in my hot glue. So one of the things I was happy to hear about was so many people still taking, on the channel anyway, still taking the social distancing and the mask thing very important, you know, still making it very important. I heard a lot of concerns about my family traveling. And honestly, I will tell you the truth, it concerns me too. But I will tell you, this isn't to excuse it. This is just how I am justifying it in my brain. And not justify isn't even the right word. how I'm reconciling. That's it. Because I mentioned in a comment that even without coronavirus, before coronavirus, I should say, before the new pandemic, I'm just going to put this stuff to wait on here. Before the current pandemic situation, airplanes are petri dishes. They're just floating petri dishes. Sorry to put it any other way. And if you work in the airplane industry, obviously, I'm not trying to insult you in any way, shape, or form. But a spade, I got to call a spade a spade. You know, they have recycled air, and though the seats are cleaned between flights, or the plane is cleaned between flights, it's not necessarily disinfected. You know, it's something that could very well not be the case. I just realized what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make sure it's lined up one more time. I'm going to turn it over and weigh in the inside because as I push on it, the box is like warping. I just want to be straight. That's one of the good things about hot glue is you don't have to wait to see if it gets nudged. Huh? So I'm going to lay it down and then I'm going to put weight in it. Okay. There we go. Jar of beads, jar of beads. Sorry. How it is believed that I acquired the staph infection, the staph bacteria that infected my ripped knee is from the plane. So, like I said, planes are notorious for being floating petri dishes. Flying petri dishes. But I will tell you, there are, and I know coronavirus isn't just staph, it isn't just flu, even though those are, like, can be deadly. You know, we do have treatments for them, though. Because it's a pandemic, there are so many less people traveling. So there's so many less germs out there. And the airlines are taking extra cleaning precautions and extra care precautions that they don't normally. So I actually tell you the truth, I'm feeling a little, when I think about it, I think I'm actually feeling a little better about them traveling by plane than if they had even driven. You guys know I just went to Ohio, and when we stopped along the way at rest stops, only every third person had on a mask, maybe even a fourth person. And that's not including us, because then, of course, we changed the ratio. But before we stepped into stores, you know, people just weren't wearing their masks in rural areas where we were stopping or along the way where we were stopping. So it's concerning. There's not a question in my mind why we're seeing spikes in certain places. It's definitely 100% without a doubt, in my opinion. I have no doubt. Let's put it that way. I have no doubt. The reason is because we just rolled out too quickly. You know, it's like, why did we have to roll out this quickly? Get our economy back up and running. Well, why is our economy in the tank? Is it because we didn't take precautions right away and then we've had so much bad results? Like, I don't mean to make anything political. It's not really my agenda here on the channel. But we know now by looking at other countries that if we would have done things differently, we'd have different results, you know? Okay, let me just hide this because I didn't do a very good job hiding that, did I? I mean, we know now by looking at other countries, we would have done something differently. We would have gotten different results. Now, yes, you can say, sorry. maybe you could say the United States is as popular, the entire United States is as popular as the continent of Europe. Well, if you look at the continent of Europe as a whole, they're also doing better than we are. Part of not having universal health care, you know how I feel about universal health care. Part of us not having universal health care in the United States is a major contributor. Part of the social hierarchy that we have here in the United States is also a factor, because when we keep working class people down, is the only way I could think to say it, and then that makes them, it makes it a necessity for them to go to work, even when, you know, we think they're essential type of thing. They're considered essential employees, but they have to not work. You know, like essential employees in the beginning were given the choice that if you don't feel safe, you could stay home, but, you know, without pay. For some of them wouldn't be granted unemployment because they chose to stay home and they weren't furloughed or laid off. I mean, different states handled it differently, different companies handled it differently, but this is just some of the stories that I've heard, and I just went tiny over tea kettle right there with the bucket. Yeah, I might need to do something different with that particular situation. But anyway, so not only did the people who don't have regular health care, who normally or sometimes have compromised immune systems because they can't take their regular diabetes medicine because they can't afford it, or they don't have their blood pressure under control because they don't know they have high blood pressure, because they can't go to the doctor regularly because of not having health care. These are the people who are at the highest risk. This is the people who are heaviest on the curve. They are the ones that are being affected the most, and it's hard. It's hard for me to sit back and not think that we need to make changes. And how do we make the changes, you know? I have to tell you though, it's one of those things you go, I am so tired of hearing lesser of two evils. Why do we have to have any evil? Why do we have to have any evil? Like, why do we have so many different opinions of what's morally right and wrong in this world? I won't even just say in this country. Definitely in this country, but in the world in general. You know, morals is not supposed to be based on religious beliefs, though I think they originally were. But I don't think that's the case anymore, because we have so many people in the world that have no religion whatsoever. But I think morals are just supposed to be like an inherent good for right and wrong, for humanity, what's good for people. I think that that's morally right. I think that's what morals should be. But that's just my opinion. I'm just one person and I have an opinion, and it's hard for me to say. I can't really change everybody's mind all at once every day. So, as I say, so I won't try, but you know, it's just a matter of like, what's important to you? We talked about that before. What's important to you is not the most important thing to me. If the most important thing to you, maybe we didn't talk about this before because I keep stopping and realizing that I don't want to talk about this. So I'm not going to talk about this. I know a lot of you are bothered by that because I share everything, but I don't want to talk about this right now anyway. Maybe we'll make it a vlog one day. Put your like little hands up, a hand emoji or the little hands up emoji if you're interested in talking about was going to say politics and religion. And thank you, because I'm pretty sure all of you say God bless you. I know when I watch vlogs and someone sneezes, I'm like, bless you. Oh, wait, they can't hear me. I was going to say, put the hand or the hands up emoji, a thumbs up emoji, whatever, in the comments if you're interested in hearing a little bit about how I feel about the direction that the world needs to go in. Most people aren't interested. But I want to thank you all for being here for me. I love you. Made some good progress on the table. I definitely fixed the sign. I will come back later to hang it back up again. And as always, you take care. God bless. I'll see you next time. Bye.